Right, so coming to the today's assignment, okay, I'll just give you guys hint how to do it. Okay, so first thing, what I did tell, find the Armstrong numbers from 1 to 1000, right? Whatever the numbers which are between 1 to 1000, right? Armstrong number is something like this. So 153 is an Armstrong number. How? Okay, this is how they define Armstrong numbers. 1 cube, what is 1 cube? 1 to the power of 3. Anybody here familiar with mathematics? What is 1 to the power of 3? 1. What is 5 to the power of 3? 5 cube. 125. What is 3 to the power of 3? 3 cube. 27. Now add everything. What's the total? When you add 1 cube, 5 cube and 3 cube, what's the total? So that's an Armstrong number. Okay, so like such, 1 is an Armstrong number because 1 cube equal to 1. Okay, so when you add the cubes of the numbers inside the whole number, okay, if you get if the sum is the same as the number, then it's an Armstrong number. Okay, so how do you approach this particular thing? How do you approach? First thing, you look from I equal to 1. Okay, I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 1000, I plus plus. So first you loop it like this, because you should find out, right? You should find out. Right, so now okay, 1 2 3, okay, for this. Okay, so now if it is less than 10, there are only one number in it, right? So I guess we have to you have to figure out, how many numbers are in there. Based on that, okay, you have to, suppose the number is I, right? So first you have to divide it by, okay, 1000. Okay, you will get what you will get if you divide by 1000. Okay, what you get a reminder. Let's take 153 itself. Let's take the 153 example. If I divide 153 by 1000, I think it should not be 1000, it should be maybe 10. Maybe 10. So you get 3. Okay, find its cube, store in a variable. Okay, then you get the reminder, right? You get the quotient. Store the quotient in another number. Okay, store alright. So check, divide it until you get the quotient 0. When you get the quotient 0, now what is the answer? If I 153 by 10, what's the quotient? 15, right? So now 15 divided by 10, so what do you get? 5 cube. Okay, make it cube, add to that variable where you stored 3 cube. Then store the quotient in another number. Now what's the quotient here? 1. Right, 1 divided by 10, what is the remainder? 1. Cube it, add to the variable where you stored 5 cube plus 3 cube. Oh, that's plus. Alright, what is the quotient here? 0. Quotient is 0. Exit, break away from the sorry, you don't have to break, then you have to start looping. I mean increment I, go to next number. Okay, so if, okay, here, sorry, when quotient is 0, first thing you're supposed to do is check if I double equal to the sum, print I. Then increment I. This is the logic behind it. So you have to do this inside a loop again, if you can. I mean do inside a while loop. Okay, while this quotient, while this quotient is not equal to 0, start looping. Once it becomes 0, exit and print the Armstrong number. So this will be the Armstrong number, I will be the Armstrong number. So just try it. We'll see in a session when we can see the solution of it. This will test your analytical skills. How good are you in using loops and if conditions? How do you control your program? So that's what it teaches you. Alright, so that's the assignment part. I hope I'm clear here. So any question here? There's nothing magic here. Okay, there's nothing complex here. It's plain and simple. You start from a loop I to 1 to 1000. Okay, you can use this inside a loop, taking care of the quotient part. Initially the quotient will be I itself. Okay, so even before going into that loop, make the quotient to be I, then start dividing that by 10. Alright, so just try it out. No problem in trying it out. You'll definitely get that. So now coming to today's class. So today's class is about functions. So do you guys know anything about functions? Why functions? Where do you use functions? Yes, functions. The general meaning of a function is working, right? Is it functional? Is it working? Will it function? Will it work? So something like that. Okay, that's the general meaning. Exactly, that's the only reason we use functions. Okay, the only reason why someone use function is that it's reusable. You can use it again and again and again and again. Okay, so this is really helpful when you have too much of programming where you have to write blocks after blocks, but instead of that you can directly do a function, write a function and call it whenever you want to use it. So here functions are used when you want to use a code again and again, and you want to use a code again and again. So now I posed a question here. Okay, just answer this question. Just okay, so (23). What is 23? Oh, mistake. Okay. So yeah, do this, answer this question. Great. So Anil, you're ready to answer. Yes, Anil, you're answering. Okay, so the answer is, okay, the answer is whatever Adnan has set it up. So only one person has, given the right answer. Okay, the rest of are given the wrong answer. So it's type of. Type of is a built-in JavaScript function which is used to tell what type of data a variable is carrying. Okay, so it's the answer is type of. So you have to keep in mind these things before going forward. So you are supposed to watch the earlier videos. That's the only key thing wherein I can help you learning. So without that, nobody can help you, even me. Okay, so yeah, so type of, now we see type of is a built-in function, right? That's what we are talking about. So it's a function. You guys have seen a function even before we talked about function. So type of is a function. So I mean, did you see any code written inside type of? We never ever come to see. But when you debug, when you go deep inside, okay, you will see some kind of code which is very huge. Okay, which is very huge, and at the top when we are using is just six letters, right? So that is the beauty of function. You don't have to, whenever I want to know the type of a variable, I don't have to write the same code again and again. Instead, what I do is I just make that piece of code inside a block and I call it as a function. Okay, I call it as a function. Okay, so I write a piece of code, I call it a function with a name. Okay, every function has a name, like type of is the name of that function. Okay, then whenever I want to use, I'll just call that function. Okay, so this is plain and simple. So there are two parts inside a function. There are two things, sorry, it's not parts, there are two things which happen while writing functions. The first is called function declaration, right? You have to define what does the function do. Like type of, what does type of do? What is the functionality of type of? What's the functionality of type of? Type of will tell us to show string. No, type of will tell us what kind of data type is the value, what kind of data type. So it has been declared somewhere, it has been declared somewhere with that functionality, with that logic, wherein I give just an input and it will return the data type of that particular input. So the first part in any function is declaration. Okay, so I'll again give the syntax of declaration. And the second part in a function, the second part in any function process, okay, is calling it. You cannot call a function without declaring. So first you have to declare your functionality, name it, then try to call it. Okay, so this is the complete process that is involved in using functions. So now coming to the actual syntax of functions, how does, so first part is declaration, right? every time a function will start with a keyword called function, without which it is not a function. So if you want to use a function, if you want to declare a function, the keyword is function, then function name. Remember, this is my standard. I write camel case in naming functions. So camel case is something, the first words first letter is small, second words first letter is capital. That's called camel case. I'll write it here. That's my my standard. So camel case, you see these camels have humps, right? Just like that, it looks like humps. For instance, here function, if I want three words, function new name, function new big name. So it's like camel case, first small, then the rest first letters of each word is a capital word there. Okay, so this is how I name a function. That's my standard, naming the functions with camel case. Alright, so function name, here arguments, you can pass arguments. Like for type of, what are you passing there? You are passing a variable or a value, right? So like such, you can pass n number of arguments, then write your functionality. So what do you want to do? Functionality is nothing but a logic. What do you want to do? I'll tell you why pass arguments. I'll tell you. That's why I'm here. Alright. So this is function. Then anytime remember, the last statement in a function is return result. Okay. The result is a value or a variable, whatever it is. Okay. Result. This is optional. So I'll tell you which are the things are optional. The things which are optional will be in square brackets. Remember this. Okay. So arguments are optional. You don't have to pass arguments. Even without passing arguments, the function will work. And even without returning also, the function will work. So when to use the what, how, I'll tell you. Okay. So that's the declaration part. Now we have to call the function, right? How do you call the function? Just name, use the name. Okay. Here pass values, pass 1, pass 2, pass 3, etc. So these are optional. Alright, these are optionals. If you have a return value, where collect, you have to collect the return value, right? When I return something from the function, there should be something which has to be which should collect it, right? So this is again optional. Only when there is a return, then I have to collect it. Only when there are arguments, I have to pass them. Okay, so now tell me. Okay, now tell me, this is a question here. Okay, concentrate. So I don't have pass values, let's say I don't have these values. So do I have to use arguments here when I don't have pass values here? Do I have to use arguments here? No. Any other answers here? Anybody has an answer here? Ankush, Anil, I think no. You think no? Okay. No? Fantastic. Now when I don't have something to collect here, okay, do I have to return the result? When I don't have to collect here, do I have to return? I'm not collecting anything. Do I have to return? Yes. Okay. Any other answers here? I'm not collecting it. Do I have to return? No again. Okay. Fantastic. Great. No. Why? Okay. Because I don't want to collect it. When I don't want to collect it, I don't want to return it. Okay, so this is purely the passing arguments and collecting values. Okay, passing arguments and collecting values is a designer's choice. So how do we get to that choice? When should we pass arguments? When should we not pass arguments? When should we return results? When should we not return results? Okay, this is the question everybody has. Return is optional, yes. That's why it's in the square brackets. Whatever which is inside square brackets, that's optional. So I'll just write it here. What is optional? So with whatever written inside this is optional. Right? So let's go ahead and see a program that will resolve any problem we have with functions. Okay, so let's go ahead and see the program here. So let me just start the screen share here. Alright, so I hope you guys can see my screen here. So let me just check my volume. This was the problem. I'm sharing my screen. Yeah, that's definitely a problem. So yes, can you guys see my screen here? Okay, JS functions.html. Okay, let me just remove this JS functions. Okay, use console to see the result. Alright, so let's just check it out. Yes, use console. So okay, let me just Alright, can you guys see the screen here? Yes, okay, fantastic. So let's go ahead and see the first function. Okay, so the first and foremost thing anytime is to declare the function. So you have to declare a function before you use it. So first let's see no arguments, no return value. Okay, no arguments and no return value. Fine. So no arguments, no return. How do I show this? Okay, so for that I have to introduce a new statement today, which I wanted to use a long time back. Sorry, in the future. I'm sorry, when I wanted to tell that when we speak about the document object model, but without which I cannot really show the functionality of functions here. Or maybe I don't know if I get any idea. Let me just check that. So function no arguments, no return. Okay, print file. Okay, print file is a function. What it does is it just prints up a 5 every time I call it. Okay, the functionality of print file is just to print 5 whenever I call it. So let me just say print 5 console.log some random text then print 5. So this first part is called function declaration, and this part is called function calling. Okay, I cannot use a function without declaring. I cannot see the output without calling. Those two are really important. They should work together. Alright, so let's go ahead here and see what happens here. You see, anywhere I use print 5, it's printing 5 over there. Right, so this is no arguments, there are no arguments and no return value. Okay, no arguments, no return value. So that's no arguments and no return value. That one. Now let me declare another function. Okay, this time function print anything, and now there be an argument. Okay, the argument, let that I call the argument to be str. Okay, console.log str. So this time print anything. I am passing now. I'm passing an argument here. So when I use it, I have to use it, right? When I declare a function, I have to use it. Here my name is Sagar. Now print anything. Print anything 10 plus 20. Print anything 3 mod 6. Okay, now here I will call again my print 5 function just to see if it prints out anything or not, and here console.log I am tired of seeing functions. Alright, so now second type of function, I have an argument, no return value yet, only argument. So if there is an argument, I should definitely pass it. Okay, we'll see what happens if you don't pass it, but let's see this example now. So here, coming here, you see that from here it starts print anything. It printed the string, then 10 plus 20, 3 mod what is that 3 mod 6, then this is print 5, and this is general console.log. Okay, so the second type. Now answer me, which one's better now? Which one's better out of these two functions? Which one do you think better, and why? Which one is good and why? Arguments. Exactly. If I use arguments, it's like dynamic, right? Because I can print whatever I wanted to print, right? So that's the reason people use arguments. Okay, so now this type of function, okay, this type of function is arguments and no return. Okay, arguments and no return. Now let's see this. I told you guys, right, what happens when I don't pass an argument to a function which has an argument. So let's see, print anything blank, not passing any argument there. So let's see there. You see, undefined. Okay, undefined. For the very purpose, I can use a default value. I can use a default value. No argument passed. Please check. So I'm just using a default value. Okay, now let's see. I did not pass any argument here. Okay, I can use the default there. This is how I use the default there. Or equal to. check that on line 15. Okay, this is still the same error. This should really work out. They should work out somehow. This okay, maybe this has been deprecated in the new version, but let me just do this. If type of str is double equal to undefined str equal to please pass some arguments. So let's see what happens here. Okay, so it worked in this way, but however it should work in that way. I'll just debug it more better so that we can use in that way. Okay, so this is what happens when you don't pass an argument. It takes the undefined value over there. Right, so yeah, now coming to the other part. Okay, coming to the other part, now what we do is we do not pass arguments, but we collect the return value. Okay, so let me write a function. Now function return return JavaScript, or let's use this return string, some string. Okay, so no arguments passed, but I just want to return. Okay, or okay, let's do this. Not return string. Yeah, maybe return string is fine. Okay, return some random string here. Okay, so I'll say Tutoslive is a random string. Okay, just return Tutoslive. It's same as the console.log 5, but we can do something else here with that. Okay, what we can really do here is, now I have to use that function, I have to write it, right? So return, so what I do here is var, okay, var statement equal to I learn from plus return string console.log statement. So what will be the output now? What will be the output? I learned from Tutoslive. Let's see if we get the right output or not. Yes, I learned from Tutoslive. Alright, so now what's the difference? What's the difference between the first one and this one? Can anybody spot the difference? Tell me the functionality wise difference. What's the difference? Yeah, what's the difference? They look same, right? The first we are passing value through argument. I'm asking about this, the first type, this, and I'm comparing it with this. You see anything? Okay, I'll tell the difference now. In the first one, since it's not returning anything, right? So I cannot use it with a combination just like this. I'm using as a combination like this here, because it is returning a value. Remember, I cannot use in a combination. If I want to use it in a combination, it should definitely return something. But whereas in here, it's not returning anything, it's just printing out something. Alright, so that's the difference between no arguments and return, and no arguments and no return. The difference is it's not returning anything, so I can't use it like this, console.log. I'm using print 5, so I cannot really do that. But when I return something, okay, I can use it in combination. When I say combination, concatenation. Okay, not just that, you can also return some number here, and you can use that number somewhere else. But whereas just like that, this print 5, right, this print 5, I cannot do something like this. I cannot do something like this. See, 5 into print 5. I cannot use in combination. It's just a dead function. It has no other functionality except printing something. That's it. I cannot really use like this. So let's try to use that. You see here, not a number. NaN stands for not a number. So I can't really use it like that. Whereas I can use something like this. What was that? Return. I'll say return number. Okay, let's write a function called return number. So here itself I write a function. So every time this will return, say, let's say 20. Okay, I can do this, write a function somewhere and use it there. I can do that. That's the beauty of functions. So now let's see this value. Let's see what happens there. You see that? 5 into 20, 100. So this can happen when I return something. That's the only difference between return and this. Have you found the difference? So then we have the last one here with arguments and with a return value. You guys are following me? What's really happening over there? Yes, it's just practice, do a lot of practice over there. So this is the one which we gonna use every time, the last one. Okay, so this kind of function, this is a function which is called no arguments and return value. No arguments and return value. And the last one is really important function. This is what we're gonna use a lot of times. So now let's write a calculator application. Okay, why this is so famous? Why these kind of functions are really famous? Because we can totally control this function. This function is a real reusable function. However, everything is reusable. Every time I want to print something, that's really cool. Every time I want to return Tutoslive, let's say fixed string, I can return that. Every time I want to return a fixed number, return 20, so it returns 20. So it's a very good thing to use this kind of reusable things. Okay, sometimes you can use some random algorithm here and generate a number, and you can return that too. Okay, so but this function is really useful. So let's write it here, function calculator. So what does a calculator have? How many options does a calculator have? So my calculator, okay, it should perform operation. Okay, and anytime on 2 numbers only. Okay, and should return result of it. This is my functionality. So now how many inputs for it? The first one is what type of operation you want. I call it as type. The second one is first number. The second is the last argument is second number. Alright, the first is type, first number and second number. Alright, so now based upon the type, so what I do is switch type case plus. If I send plus, okay, it should return. Now you see, this is the beauty of it. It should return first number, or I have to use the comma here, first number plus second number. Right, case minus, what should you return? Return first number minus second number. Case multiplication, return, what should I return? First number into second number. Case divide. Now here there is a peculiar case here. Can a number be divided by 0? Yes. Can a number be divided by 0? Any answers here? Can a number be divided by 0? No answers? Can a number be divided by 0? What is 1 by 0? 1 by 0 or 2 by 0 or 3 by 0? Undefined? Actually it's not possible. It's a mathematical error. Okay, so now based on that, okay, what I do is second number question mark. If the second number is not 0, return first number divided by second number. If it is 0, okay, if it is 0, return, okay, divide by 0 error. You understood this logic? Any questions in this logic? Any questions in this logic? No problem, you can ask any question. If you do not understand it, just ask me. I'll just explain this here. Okay, now let's say second number is 0. Yes, second number is 0. If it is 0, that means it's false. 0 is false. Anything other than 0 is true in any programming language. Okay, if it is 0, where should it jump? It should jump to this, right? It's a conditional operator. So what it will return? If it is 0, it will return divide by 0 error. Now let's say if it is a number, let's say 4, that means it's true. What happens if it's true? It should return the division result. Okay, it should return the division result. So you have to check this divide by 0, because the browser will not tackle it very well. Okay, now case modulus, okay, case modulus, and this is no problem. I mean modulus of 0 again. Okay, you cannot really do a modulus of 0 because since it's not divided by. So second number, again check it, second number, return first number modulus second number, return divide by 0 error. So default, what should be default? So any number, any type which is not this, okay, you should throw an error saying that hey, please give, oh, I have to return this, return okay, please give a valid type such as plus, minus, into, divide, and modulus. That is it. This is a calculator code, okay, and the function is over. Now we have to use it. Let's use it. Let's see this. How does it work? Alright, so var result or output, whatever you want to use, calculator. What is the first argument? What is the first argument? Type. So let me pass type first, then 20, 30. Yes, 20 and 30. Now I can use a function again here. Which function I have to use? Print anything, result, or yeah, so let me just check this. Unexpected identifier, line 45, line 45, switch type. Okay, my bad. Line 49. Okay, let me just do this. Return. Okay, second number, return. Okay, great. So are we making any mistake here? You guys can spot it out. 49, second number, the question mark. Okay, let me just do this. Not return but result. Okay, let me just remove this. Okay, let us return here. Right, so this will work now. So coming to console here, if I, okay, there's some problem here again. So plus sign is not been taken care of, so it's going to default. Okay, why it's going to default? Any idea why is it going to default? Any idea why is it going to default? It's only taking the default. This topic is confusing. Okay, nothing. What I'm doing is, okay, I'll tell you, I'll explain you. So I've written a function. What does this function do? This function is taking 3 arguments: type, first number and second number. It has 3 arguments. Type is something that, what should it do? Do you want me to add, subtract, multiply, divide, or do you want to find a remainder? Okay, that is type. So first number is just any number, second number is any number. Okay, now coming to here, based on type I have to do the operation based on the type. So I am using a switch case statement, which we have seen yesterday. Switch is nothing but switch type. If type matches any case, that will be executed. If it matches plus, it will execute this. If it matches minus, if type equal to minus, it will do this. If type equal to into, it will do this. If type equal to this, okay, I have to check first. Division by 0 is dangerous, so I have to check if second number is 0 or not. If second number is 0, that means it's false. If second number is 0, that means, if 0 means false. So where will it go if it's false? It will jump here. So now result will be divide by 0 error. If second number is not 0, what will it do? It will divide the first number by second number. Okay, similarly with the modulus. Now default, switch will have a default. If nothing matches, no plus, no minus, no star, no divide, no modulus, it will catch this. Hey, just use only these. Okay, and will return the result. Now coming here, 3 arguments. I'm passing the 3 arguments. Okay, now why is it going to default? Because okay, still any confusion here? If there is a confusion, tell me which part is confusing, so that I can change it. I can really change the code in any way. Instead of switch, I can use if else. You can also use if else. I did not use a break, that's the reason it went to a default. Now you see 50 here, where type equal to, where first number equal to, I can use the same names for the arguments and pass, no problem. Okay, no problem in using the same names. Okay, here I can pass that again. So type first number, second number. So first number plus type plus second number plus okay. So now let's see how our calculator is working. So 20 plus 30 equal to 50. Calculator is absolutely working fine. So now let's change the numbers. Okay, let's change the numbers here. Okay, here instead of use minus, everything is dynamic. All I have to do is change only these 3. Everything is dynamic. Now let's see. 20 minus 30 is minus 10. My calculator is working fantastic, right? So now let's check for the divisible divide by a 0 error. Okay, so this is the operation is divide, second number is 0. Second number is 0. You see, 20 by 0 is divide by 0 error. Anyone here or everybody left? You guys following? You guys can replicate this, the same calculator code. I want you guys to write the calculator code again. I want you to guys write that calculator code again and again. Okay, because this is the root of functions, and you see how the way I coded. I don't know if you're getting it or not, but it's pure and clear. Like everything is dynamic here until here. See, all I have to do is pass that values, and the printing also. Even the printing is perfectly fine. Okay, so now tell me, if I have to write this calculator without function, I want to calculate 100 calculations without functions. How many lines of code I have to write? 100 calculations without this function. Now coming here, you have to, every time you have to write this, right? Every time you have to write this. So that is 54 minus 45 is 9 lines, only 9 lines. But coming to 100 times, yes, coming to 100 times. So this one statement equal to, okay, this statement is equal to 9 lines of code. So now I'll tell you how many lines we have saved. Now this is again 9 lines of code. This is again 9 lines of code, and this is again 9 lines of code. So how many lines we have saved? We have saved 54 minus 4, 50 lines of code in only just 4 calculations, right? So 450, now 100, I don't know, the grade goes to, so every time we are saving 8 lines of code. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so now that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of functions. That's why we're gonna use functions anytime. From now onwards we'll be using only functions to do anything, because I really love reusable code. I'm that kind of person who loves reusable code. I wanted to write reusable code every time, so I'll be writing reusable code every time I come across. So now let's do one more thing here. Divide by 20. So 20 by 20. Let's see what happens here. 20 by 20 is 1. Okay, so I'll change that to 18. What is 20 by 18? 1.1.11112. Alright, so that is my calculator. So I want you guys to write this calculator and send me back. I will delete this particular code and upload, because later somewhere, tomorrow or maybe day after tomorrow, I'll upload the calculator code. So by that time, finish the calculator assignment using functions. Okay, however the video will be available, but even before you do it, it's very appreciated. Is breaking my voice, or you want a break? You want a break? Take a break. So now what are arrays? Your take. What are arrays? And coming to the wireframe, okay, so at the end of this class I'll tell you guys which class is really required to do the wireframes. Multiple values, like above URL, nothing. I did not tell anything over there. Just go there, that's what I told. Okay. So our wireframes, let us log in early tomorrow, 4:30. What do you guys say? tomorrow definitely will happen. 4:30 to 5 regarding the wireframes assignment, how to approach. Yes, I'll just give some hints. I won't be teaching everything. I don't really have time to teach that entire thing. Okay, but I'll just tell you guys how to approach it. Okay, the approach. Alright, so yeah, coming to arrays. What are arrays? So Adnan has a very good explanation of it. Multiple values like variable. Okay, so what's really happening here is when you store variables. Okay, let's take a solid example here. Let's take student. What are all attributes a student has? A student has a name, right? A student has a location, right? He has a roll number, right? He has attendance, right? He has percentage. Now if I have to store 100 students details, also age. Okay, so you found out age from age, right? Okay. Age. Okay, so if I have to store, now let's say we are dealing with only one student. How do I deal? Var name equal to Adnan, var location equal to Karachi. Am I right? Var, I don't know your roll number, Adnan. I have to find that on the website. Maybe some 252. You are the 252nd student at Tutoslive. 420. Okay, do you know why people call a thief 420? Anybody has any idea why it's only 420? Var attendance equal to I'll say true in the sense good. Okay, and var percentage what's the law? Okay, exactly. So it's a thief. Section 420 will convict you as a thief. So as per section, I mean, people are lazy, right? So they don't say as per section 420 you are a thief. They say just 420, so that means you are a thief. Okay, never mind, that's information is wealth. So percentage is 67 or 78.6, some random. And var age, I don't know your age, Adnan, I'm sorry. So maybe 25, 22, 21, I don't know your age. Okay, just say what, almost. Okay, so this is the thing. So now what if I want to store again Anil's details? Yeah, again I have to do this, right? I have to start from scratch. Now when I do it like this, here when I print name, all the details of Adnan are vanished or gone, right? Yes, all the details of Adnan are gone. Now the fresh details will be available under the name of Anil. So this happens when I use a regular variables to store a collective detail. Like this particular details are of a student 1, and this particular details of a student 2. So what should I do when I really have this kind of requirement? So that's where the concept of arrays come into picture. So arrays store multiple values of different data types. Okay, so now how do I do this? This is the syntax of array. I'll say var Anil equal to. Okay, I say var Anil equal to new array. This is the syntax. Now I'll say Anil equal to Anil Hyderabad, so on 178 true, 87.2, and say 25 again. So these are the details of Anil. Okay, the same where Adnan equal to new array. This is syntax of array. Now here Adnan equal to the details again. Alright, this is the array. This is how I can store collective data, different data types. Okay, that is the concept of array. Now there are few things in an array. Array has two things. One is length. Array has a length. So what is length? The number of elements it has. So now coming to Anil array, how many elements are there in it? How many elements are there in it? How many values I am storing in that array, Anil array? How many values? 5, 6, right? So that is the length. How many values do I have in that array is the length. And the second is index. So index, now if the length is 6, index is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 0 to length minus 1. So this is something 0 to length minus 1. Now if I want, okay, Anil's roll number, if I want Anil's roll number, all I have to do is, where is its position? 0. Okay, let's start. 0, 1, 2. The index starts from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so if I want his roll number, okay, this is my approach. So all I got to do is, Anil of 2 will give me his roll number. So now what if I want his attendance? How do I get Anil's attendance? Okay, attendance. Anybody has an answer here? Anybody not understanding this concept? Anil of 4. So let's count it. 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so okay, I'll explain it clear. So Anil of 0, every time the index starts from 0, remember this. Anil. What is Anil of 1 now? What is Anil of 1? Keeping this array in mind. This is our array of interest. One is Hyderabad. So location, yeah. So now what is Anil of 2? So array is multiple. You understood, right? So well, what is array? You understood what is array, right? You did not understand the index concept, I guess. Right? Nothing. Index starts from 0, moves forward until the length of it. Okay, let me just do it 10 more minutes. So Anil of 3 is true. Anil of 4 is 87.2. Fantastic. Okay, and Anil of 5, this is the last one because the length is only 6. 25. Great, bravo, you guys know about it. Okay, so that is it. We see examples tomorrow, how we can use arrays with loops, how we can control it, the arrays. Okay, and now we see much more. We see the first built-in function on arrays tomorrow. Okay, the built-in functions are really crazy, they are awesome. So don't miss tomorrow's class. We see 4:30 we start. I'll send an email. No, object is different. Okay, there's a slight difference between array and object. Okay, the only reason is objects are faster than arrays. That's why people use objects. Okay, so I suggest you guys, I won't teach this. Okay, it's called JSON, JavaScript object notation. Do a small research on this, you will get to know. Okay, this is an advanced concept for which I'm not gonna touch it. Okay, but in PHP I'll tell you what a JSON is. I'll definitely teach you in Ajax. We'll use JSON in Ajax. So in our project we'll be discussing this. In Ajax we use JSON. So that one thing we see there. So even just do a small research. Research is always better for you guys. Okay, so tomorrow the class starts at 4:30. Okay, no questions asked, no answers said. So come at, log in at 4:30 tomorrow. You'll see a class from 4:30 to 5. I'll give you hints on the wireframe. Okay, so that you guys can take forward it. And however Adnan has finished his wireframe, it seems. So I'll just take Adnan's solution as a reference and I'll start speaking about it. Okay, and keep following the previous classes so that you don't have any question. Okay, there are certain classes, go back to HTML layouts class and check it out. And well, yeah, that is it for